We have Keri Davis, and Keri, the way we like to do this is for you, instead of us introducing you, you tell our audience about you and maybe a little bit about your journey and how you got to be where you are today.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me. I love being with you ladies and everybody else, as you know, so thank you very much. For those of you that I don't know, my name is Keri Davis Duffy, and I own Gila Salons in San Diego. Our business started in 1992. I joke that I was 10 and a prodigy, so you don't try to guess my age. But my mom and I actually started our business together in a little 1,000 square foot salon with an upstairs we thought it was a cute little upstairs hidden studio, but that wasn't when I had my business hat on. It was cute, but it was hidden. So we had to really work hard to get busy. And, but you know, we opened putting a second mortgage on our house, and we had a dream, and we didn't really know what we were doing. But I think one thing that we did have was this commitment to the people that worked with us. And boy, has it been a journey. And, you know, for those leaders out there, and I think we're all leaders in our own right, whether we own a business or we own our own life, we're leaders. And one thing that I've learned on my path is that if we don't commit to learning every single day what worked yesterday and what could have worked better today and moving forward, the path is rockier than it needs to be. So I've had a real rocky path sometimes, and sometimes I've had a smooth path. But I think all of those experiences have gotten us to where we are today. And I'm doing a study right now on resilience and what resilience really means. And it's not really that you're so strong, it's that how are we willing to be flexible and take a look at how to operate in hard times kind of as normally as possible, right? So it's like pivoting. And I think as we grow on this journey, we have to be able to pivot and be inside what's happening now. So that's why I love being with you guys, because it's always about being here now and recreating.
Yeah, well, Keri, I mean, I'm almost certain, as certain as I can be about anything, is that this last year has probably been, for you and a lot of salon owners, the most difficult year of their entire business life. So yeah. Before we get to how you're getting through this, because you're our first guest from California, and yeah. you have to know that we all, as a collective industry, we have all had our eyes and our hearts and on you all in California. And so before we get to where we are now, besides this past year, what was the most difficult until this year?
Oh my God, nothing.
Nothing. There was nothing difficult before this year when you really, in comparison.
Yeah, in retrospect, in retrospect, nothing. But I'd say before the pandemic, what's been the most difficult is, I don't know. I think every owner would probably say, you know, growing team and retaining team. I think like no matter what, it just seems like, I know it's like this cliche answer, but it is, even when you're opening more businesses and you're expanding and growing and duplicating, that still is the thing that as a business owner, you think about and you worry about. I mean, that's kind of, it's ever present. You wake up and you're like, hey, I had whatever 20 team members yesterday. am I going to have 20 today? And are we going to continue to grow? And it's always kind of this, it's always in the back of your head, is connecting with team and growing team and retaining team. I think that most owners could default back to that.
It's interesting you say that, because last week we were with Tim Belcher, and he said, he used the word about the being obsessed with my team, you know, rather than the obsession about clients and guests, being obsessed, you know, regarding your team. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because, you know, I think as I've taught over the years, we've always talked about, you know, guest retention being as important as team retention, but really what comes first, right? Because if you're not retaining your team and obsessed with them having what they need and creating a great environment and them feeling fulfilled, and if we don't have that, then we don't have retention. If we don't have retention, then we don't have clients. So it really, like, it's this trickle down effect where it really is it's that whole chunk that that drives the business.
Okay, so we're all aware of that. We all agree. So then what's the how? How? I'm asking this for all of us. How do we retain and keep our team members connected and fulfilled? I mean, you said it. The most difficult thing about this work that we do is that.
I watched your video last week on social media that I forgot exactly what you called it, but like a happiness drive-by that you did with your team. Mm-hmm. And that was so incredible. And I've noticed that you've done things like that all throughout. So do you think that's part of keeping everybody connected?
I mean, right now, if we're going to fast forward to now, which we probably are gonna, being connected, especially for us California owners, is the only thing we have, right? Because we have to stay connected to our clients somehow without being open. And we have to stay connected to our team somehow without being open. And so we have to really be thinking out of the box. It's not like, well, I'm going to do my weekly coaching with my team. I mean, technically we don't have a team. People are laid off, right? So, so how do we continue to connect? So you're referring to, we did a love parade last week with our team, and because we were shut down again. And, you know, unemployment is really iffy for everybody. We wanted to just do what we could. So we put love packages together for our team, and we hosted a love parade, and everyone decorated their cars. And Carla and I, my business partner, you guys know Carla, we created love packages with grocery store cards in it. And we wanted to support our local coffee shops and our local restaurants. So we had gift cards and some baked goods and a handwritten card for everybody. And so so we did a drive-by love parade, which just fills my heart, because I mean, connection is all we have. And when we don't feel like we have that, it's really difficult. That's been really, I'd say, I get really emotional thinking about it, because that lack of connection is just like, it's heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm. I loved watching that. And I could feel your heart. I mean, I was seeing how much you guys put into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how to, you know, it seems like insensitive almost to ask, you know, how are you and the salon owners in your situation? I mean, are you communicating with other salon owners in California? How are you sustaining your own resilience, you personally, in dealing with this?
Well, I always have this handy. Okay. I'll pull one out because I do have a feeling it's been hard, but I have to say that I have, you know, my posse. I have my group of California salon owner. There's about 5 of us that we started a message chain back when California changed all their laws around how we can pay our team, when commission just got like taken off the table, right? So we've had to really pull together because California is very extra when it comes to all things small business. So
Everything, really.
it's everything. I mean, we have been really, I don't want to be dramatic and say fighting for our life, but as an employment-based business owner in California, we have had to practice resilience, and we've had to practice major problem solving. And I like that. There's a part of me that's like, okay, we have to get to the other side of this. And where are we now? And what do we need to get to? And so how do we get there? So I think because innately that is one of my strengths. I do have just a handful of them. I don't feel like I have a lot right now, but one of them is problem solving. That's been very helpful. So I do have a great little support group where we go through the gamut of emotions together and the gamut of problem solving together, because we can't do it on our own. And it is nice to be able to call, one of your people and be able to say, I'm just having a fucked up day today. I can't even get out of bed. I mean, we've been closed a month now, and I'm just like, I need to be tethered. Like sometimes I just start floating away. I'm so disconnected. And so I have to be able to kind of ground myself and reel myself back down. And these, this group that I have I think we help each other doing that, because I surely couldn't do it alone, or I'd be one of those runaway hot air balloons,
Yeah. Yeah. In a situation where, there's so much challenge, it's like you've really did the community, your circle. And then you just hope that you don't all go into that dark place at the same time. So, and then, you take turns,
Yes. And it seems to work out that way. Or if a couple of us are in that really dark place, one thing that I'm learning is that a part of being strong is having all the feels, right? It's like, I was telling Carol that she's like, we're going to be, it's not just spilling the tea, it's spilling your guts. And I was just like, oh God, I got a lot of guts to spill right now. And I was telling her yesterday that I was driving. I had to go down to one of my salons yesterday and just get the mail and, try to do something normal. And I'm trying to get in my car. I'm totally fine. I'm driving down the freeway. And the Black Eyed Peas are getting ready to come on, and will.i.am is talking about when he wrote that song, Where Is the Love? And I'm like, oh God, they're not going to play that song now. I just had this feeling it was going to be a lose it moment, And so he was talking about writing where he was in his life when he wrote that song, and how it became like the world's song, with everything that happens around us, and the song comes on. And I mean, it was the ugly cry that you don't want anyone seeing, it was like the sobbing of just when is there going to be help, and feeling just a little bit helpless. But as soon as I just got it out and like the song was over, I'm like, okay. Release.
It's funny because I've, had my share of, different, loss and challenge. And I notice as soon as I let those emotions flow, it's like taking a major exhalation.
Oh.
And like, and then I can kind of breathe again.
Yes, that was exactly it. And sometimes you're in the middle of it and you're like, is this ever going to end? Yeah. And because this is just raunchy, raw. And as soon as the song ended, I was like, okay, I'm good to take that next step. And so I'm okay being there now. I just I don't feel like I need to come across as this super strong person or someone that has it all together. I feel like having it all together means all the parts. all the ugly parts and all the good parts and the hard parts and the glory. And so whatever shows up that day, it's just leaning into it and knowing it's a part of the process, especially where we are now. I mean, you kind of can't go on autopilot. There's just, I don't really have a routine, right now. And that's the thing that I'm kind of struggling with is I had such a routine before, and now that we're closed again, it's kind of like recreating my routine again. So there's always something to work on, right?
Always, yeah.
Do you guys have an anticipated open date, or you just have no idea?
Well, we don't know. It started with a 3-week, but we know our governor, he tries to always just lighten the blow by starting off with something that's like palatable. And so it's been the 3 weeks, and then he was on last week. And I mean, unless something is going to change, I think they're just waiting for capacity to increase in the ICU beds. And so they have us separated in these regions now in California. So when our region, and we're included in LA and San Diego and like high numbered areas. So whenever our region opens up with at least 15% capacity in the ICU beds, I think for sure we'll be able to open. I just don't know if we'll be able to open sooner than that. So right now we're at 0. So, and we're at Christmas, right? So, again, we are just trying to stay connected to our team and to our clients and do our little business stuff that we can be doing right now to generate a little bit, and a lot of social media stuff to keep our team engaged too. They're making videos and stuff. So, still
I just keep kind of shaking my head. I just don't.
I know.
I have so much empathy for where you all are.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like, I'm torn between being glad that we're closed because I feel like there's safety in being home. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the financial burdens, right? So you're like, well, I mean, how long can we not have financial support and stay closed? So, and I know so many people, I feel this, that like people feel like they want to be home and they want to have the stay-at-home order themselves, but they also need to be able to pay their mortgage or pay their rent. And so there's all of these conflicting things going on, and so people just need to do what's best for them, so there's a lot of people here that are still open even with the stay-at-home order. I mean, you drive by salons with papered windows and it's like, I see you. So
oh really?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially, and it's the first shutdown, I don't think really anybody did it. The second one, you saw people say, I can't do this again. And now this third one, people are just like, so there's that happening. And, a lot of people aren't following the order, but when you have a wife that's a judge, you follow the order.
Yeah, you're kind of high profile. Yes.
When you have a wife,
it keeps you really honest, huh?
I don't want to be. I want to break the rules so bad.
I know you're such a renegade usually. I'm sure that's a restraining force.
Yes. I was like, if we just stayed open 2 days past the order, and she's just like, so yeah. I gotta respect that, right? But
yes.
God darn,
yes.
I do want to open because we're so safe. We never had any transmissions in our salon, but so we'll be okay. We just need to, I am an eternal optimist, that I am.
Yeah.
So
yes.
we will get through this. And I think it's like with anything that we're going through, any challenges, I've learned, and Debra, I know you and I, share health relatedness, I'll say, right? We both have overcome cancer, and when you're in the middle of some big crisis, you do get through to the other side. And so this is the same kind of thing where you're just like, the only thing I can do is say, I trust whatever it's going to look like on the other side, because that's another thing we don't have control over, right?
Yes.
And that's just with anything. It's we feel like we have so much control, and we're learning right now. We don't really have control over anything except how we respond and react to things, and how we
Yes.
connect with people. And so
Yes.
whatever it's going to look like on the other side,
Right.
we will get through whatever that is. So
Yes.
that I know.
Wow. Yeah. As we kind of wrap up, and I know that this is probably going to require it's kind of a question you maybe don't have an answer to, but I'm thinking, so once we get on the other side of this or through this, what do you think is going to be one of the first things that you're going to need to, that you and salon owners just collectively are going to need to get through and focus on beyond your staff? I mean, is it education? I know, because like training, or do you have any thoughts about what that might be?
I do. I have a lot of thoughts on what that might be, and I'll try to just wrap it up. I don't know what our timing looks like, but I have in my mind, I think of how businesses work is like a 5-layered cake, right? And like when you're eating like that 5-layered cake, there's all of the different flavors, right? You have all your layers, and I don't think that it's one thing. I think that we should be preparing right now for all the layers. Like, what's education going to look like? And I don't think once we're past it, we need to start scrambling of what it's now. Right now, we need to be looking at what does education look like? What new benchmarks should we be looking at? Because we surely can't compare 2020 or even maybe even 2021. But what does it look like now? And it is a fresh start. And I stay out of the comparison of where we were. I look at what our numbers are, and I look at what the loss was of last year and where we were last year. But that is definitely not my focus, and that does not bring me down, because I've built businesses for the last 20 some odd years, 29 years. So we're building a business. And I think one of the things we have to focus on is when we were building our business in the very beginning, what did we focus on? And now we're wiser now, because we have businesses, but we have to go back to all of the tools we used when we started our business and re-employ those. And I think if we can just even sit and write 5 things down, what are the 5 layers of my perfect cake, of the things that I need to focus on, and what did I do when I first built my business, that is the place to start. It's not to start right here where you are, because so many things are not what they're gonna be, and they're not what they were. And so I think we have to start with the mindset of a new business owner, but we have the wisdom of having our business.
Yeah. Yes. Boy, that's very, that's a
Yes,
real
it
contribution,
is.
what you just said there.
So in listening,
Yes.
to what you were saying, and the 5-layer cake and all of those things, so would you say your vision has shifted somewhat of your Gila root vision?
I think it's the same. I think that our vision and our mission is the same. I think our starting place is different. And I mean, our core values are never change. It is always, our first one is relationships. That's like our number one, and it always will be. Our second one is education. We're an educational company. And our third one is growth. And so no matter where we start, and no matter where we are, and I remind my team of this every week when I'm trying to connect with them on some level, whether it's a phone call, live, whether we're doing a Zoom, whether we're doing a parade, that everything we do is connected to those core values. And I think if you can identify what those are, then you have a compass to start.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful reminder, and a very, powerful way to wrap up our conversation today with you, Keri.
I look forward to being with you on the leadership panel that you'll be on for Serious Business.
Excited
So-
about it.
Yes. I mean, speaking of serious business, maybe there's a few things we want to say about serious business and the opportunity that people have. I know that the people that are viewing right now have already purchased their tickets and they've already committed to participating. But they, if maybe a reminder, and then they could share with their friends,
Yes, and we do have a new offering, and you're more than welcome to text me or email me or whatever. That is for the larger salons, maybe multiple locations, so that everyone can have their own meeting room and be able to chat. And Keri, I'll talk to you about that.
That's awesome.
yeah, and
whenever we get
actually
off.
have
Yeah,
a company meeting and using serious business as as part of the content for
love
that
that.
meeting. And then the other thing is that for 30 days after serious business, people have the opportunity to,
Yes, there's always going to be, life just happens.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
suddenly you can't be present that day. So
Yeah.
it'll be on the website for registered
Great.
ticket holders
For
immediately
registered.
after.
right.
that is-
Even our, surprise speaker, Russell Brand, is willing to do that, to let us keep his piece up for 30 days.
Yes.
So, yeah. So,
Our
okay,
time
dear.
is up. It was
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
so awesome seeing
Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you for having
we really wish you and all of us the best of everything, and be open and flexible, and kind of be in the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Thank you,
Love you guys.
Keri.
And
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Yeah.
Happy
A
New Year.
happier.
I'll see you guys this
A
whole
happier
week
new. Yes.
and next week
Okay.
and the week after.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.